Hey everyone, welcome back to M&MM IELTS. This is Mohit. Now, guys, in today's one, I am going to share with you all the top 5 mistakes that you should be avoiding if you are someone who is aiming for a band 7 this time. And this applies for all the 4 modules that we have got in the exam: speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So please make sure you do watch this video right up until the end, because you might be someone who, out of all these 5 mistakes, if not all 5, you might be making one mistake at least. And as long as you can even take one pointer out of this video, you are a winner for sure. So please make sure you follow this. Please make sure you do not make these 5 mistakes, so that you can also make sure to get that band 7 that you are aiming for. Let's start with today's one. Now, the top 5 mistakes, starting with the very first one, is, and that's the most basic and the most overlooked one actually, which is overlooking task requirements. We get so much carried away with all the other things that, okay, I have to perform well in the task, I have to get my questions right, I have to manage the time properly. And with all these other things, we tend to just do not really consider what the task is actually asking from us. That is the biggest mistake students make, which they do not even read what the question was asking. Like, is that question asking me for my own opinion, or is that question asking me to simply agree with whatever has been said? Is that question asking me for true, false, not given, or what is that question asking from me? The moment you do not read that question afterwards. And another thing, the major thing, which is, if a question says write no more than 3 words, and you then end up writing your answer in 4 words, doesn't matter even if you got those 3 words right. Unfortunately, they are not going to give you any scores at all. You lose marks for that particular question. So, doesn't matter how much you practice, you first have to make sure that yes, you have got limited time in the exam, but even in that limited time, you have to make sure you read all the questions thoroughly, properly. That should be your very first thing. In the listening section, when they give you some time to prepare, they give you about 30 seconds or so to read couple of questions before they start to play the audio. In those 30 seconds, yes, look at your options, yes, look at your sentences, your text and stuff, but first thing first, read the question, as in what is that question asking from you, and then look at your questions, and then try to finish your exam with the other stuff and other bits and pieces that are needed to be done. But first thing first, task requirements is basically the most important thing. If you do not follow that, unfortunately, you can never get your band 7 that you're aiming for. Next thing is ignoring the vocabulary range. Now, I have seen some people out there saying that even if you speak very simple English, you can still get your band 7 or band 8 or so on. Look, we do recommend that yes, keep your answers simple and use those vocabulary words which you are also familiar of and which you can actually use practically. But at the same time, you just can't keep your English very simple, to the point, and short sentences. Remember, you are aiming for a band 7. And for an examiner to give you a band 7, they actually need that content. They actually need to hear some good range of vocabulary words. So, yes, I still recommend to use the words which you are actually familiar with, but you have to familiarize yourself with some new vocabulary words on a daily basis. Whenever you practice, have a habit of learning 5 new vocabulary words on a daily basis. Whatever word you are familiar with, let's say you know the word important, go on Google, type down the word important, and then search for synonyms of that particular word. What would happen is Google will give you a list of all the synonyms of the word important, like significant and whatnot. Learn those 5 words, write those words down in your notebook, so that if you ever have to use the word important again in any essay or anywhere else, you can, at least instead of using the word important, you can use a different word after that. So this is the best way to learn your vocabulary. You can't expect to learn like 100 words in one day. It's not possible and it's not feasible. I would rather do 5 words every day, so that I can make sure at every single day I'm improving slightly, slowly, and steadily. Next one, neglecting the grammar accuracy. Now, again, I have seen so many students do not considering the grammar rules. Like, they'll just get some good vocabulary words, they'll type their answers or they write their answers, but then they have made so many grammar mistakes, as simple as the article mistakes, like where a and or the was supposed to be there, they did not put that. Prepositions were wrong. Instead of putting the word in, they put into, or instead of onto, they put in. Like, different preposition was used. Subject verb rule, different verbs were used, a wrong form of the verb was used. So many different grammar mistakes can be done. And this impacts your speaking and writing significantly, like to a point where you can almost be like you can never get a band 7 if you make those grammar mistakes. That's how important and serious these things are. You have to make sure that you learn those basic key grammar rules on a daily basis. What are key grammar rules? All these rules that I just mentioned, that the correct form of verb, correct tense that has to be used, a and in the article rule, preposition rules. All these basic rules are something that you can simply Google or go on YouTube and search for these basic rules, understand them, memorize them so that you do not make these grammar mistakes, which will help you to get your band 7 that you're aiming for. Number 4 is poor time management. So let's say you have done all the other things, but at the end of the day, you're not able to finish your exam on time. Then what was the point of doing all the other things, right? So time management is the most crucial aspect. Never spend so much time on first few questions that by the time you're reaching towards the end, you've got limited time and then you're rushing, you're panicking, you're making mistakes, all of the other things are happening. Please make sure before giving your exam, you give ample amount of practice tests, the actual Cambridge exam tests with proper time management. If you get 60 minutes for solving your reading in the exam, you have to make sure when you do your practice test for reading, you take exact 60 minutes to finish your test. You do not just be off the clock and be like, I'll take 1.5, 2 hours, and in the exam, I would be able to finish it off. No, that doesn't happen. You have to develop a habit of finishing your exam in the given time, in actual given time that is given to you. So please make sure time management is the most crucial aspect if you are someone who's aiming for a band 7. And one final thing, but last but not the least, is the lack of coherence and cohesion. Now, what does lack of coherence and cohesion means? It simply means the sentences, the flow that you're using in your speaking and writing specifically, because that's where you speak and type your answers. If your sentences are not linked with each other, if you are saying one sentence like this and another sentence is talking about completely different thing, it will confuse the examiner of how have you actually structured your answer. A proper native speaker, when they would be giving information on something, they will not be beating around the bush and talking about 5 different things at the same time. They would be logically flowing their essay. They would be logically flowing their cue card. If they have asked you for an essay topic, do you agree or disagree and give your own opinion? They have asked you these 3 things. I would structure my essay in a way that in one paragraph, I'm agreeing about that topic. In second paragraph, I'm disagreeing about that topic. And in the final conclusion paragraph, I'm actually giving my conclusion. That's what makes the part of coherence and cohesion. Your answers have to be in a logical and organized manner. You can't just be like talk agree and disagree in one paragraph and in next paragraph just talk about disagree and in finally do not even give your opinion. That is not the right way to do your essay, or as a matter of fact even your cue cards or any other topic. So coherence and cohesion, if you follow the logical flow of your essays, if you follow the proper organized way of your cue card, cover all the questions, yes, you can certainly expect to get a band 7 that you're aiming for. So guys, this is what I wanted to share in this particular video. I hope it was helpful. If you have got any questions about this video, or as a matter of fact, any other questions at all for your IELTS exam, please feel free to put it down in the comments down below. And if you want us to make a video on a basis of a certain topic, again, feel free to leave your content ideas over here so that me and Mohit can make the videos on the basis of those topics first as compared to the ones that we have got planned. Guys, all the best if you have got your exams coming soon. Stay safe wherever you are, and I will see you all in the next video.